Hi, welcome to today's video. Today I'd like to share with you the books I read in August. I actually kind of had a bad reading month. I had so many plans, I had so many goals, and they just didn't work out, which is fine. But basically, if you've been here before, you may recognize that this is not where I normally am. I'm currently on holiday and decided that before I left home, I would try and read some of the physically larger books on my TBR. That didn't happen. I left for this trip 3 weeks into the month and did not read a book in that time. So my plan didn't exactly work at all, but I knew that while traveling, on the plane, I'd be able to read a bit, so that's what I did. The first book I finished this month is one that I started and finished while on the plane, and that is The Charm Offensive by Alison Coachran. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I don't think I've ever heard it pronounced out loud, so sorry. I listened to the audiobook while on my flight. I finished it so quickly. It went by so fast, and I loved it. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars and just found it so easy to love. The characters were really lovable, and I personally love a character-driven story, so it worked out really well for me. The story is about Dev, who is kind of a hopeless romantic and wants to believe in a happily ever after, as he is a producer on a reality TV show that is fairy tale based. It's kind of incredible. And Charlie, who is the new star of the show, who is kind of a disgraced IT bro, without the bro part. And yeah, just them meeting, kind of becoming friends, becoming more than that. This is the first book that I've read that included demi-rep, which is crazy. I can't believe I've never read a book with a demisexual character, or I should say a canonical demisexual character. I am a firm believer in Demi Julian Blackthorne, but that is not relevant right now. I've had this book recommended to me so many times, and those recommendations were spot on. This is exactly the kind of book I would love, and I did love it. It was wonderful. I have seen some kind of mixed opinions on some of the representation, especially some of the mental health stuff. Personally, I quite liked the way things were represented, but that is kind of based on my experience. I can't speak to all of it, and I'm not going to get really into it, so there are really good reviews online I recommend checking out if you want to know a bit more about that before reading the book yourself. I really do recommend looking that up before you read it, just in case. But the book was really sweet. I really enjoyed it. I can't remember a lot of the specific details, character names and things like that, because I did read it on a flight and I was kind of not connected to reality. And not a lot has stuck in my mind from that time, but I remember a lot of the story itself, and it was good fun. I've seen it recommended to fans of Red, White and Royal Blue a lot. That's me, and I really recommend it. If you liked Red, White and Royal Blue, I feel like this book will probably be up your alley. The next book I read was also one that I listened to, and I definitely didn't give it enough time, I think. I did rush through it, and I didn't pay enough attention to it, so I do fully intend on rereading this at some point, and that is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. If you've been around for a while, you may know this has been on many of my TBRs in the past, but I did finally get to it, and it was cute. Legends and Lattes is a cozy fantasy about a character whose name I have just forgotten, Viv. Is about Viv, who is basically retiring and opening a coffee shop in a place where no one really knows what coffee is, so it was very cozy. I listened to the audiobook while doing other things, and so I wasn't giving it my full attention. It was a lot of in the car or at the beach or walking from place to place, and while I enjoyed it, I do want to pay a little more attention to it. I know there is, I think, a prequel coming out, and so I will be rereading it before then. But yes, I gave Legends and Lattes 4 out of 5 stars. The last book I read in August is one that I've been meaning to read since it came out, and that is I Kissed Sharawilla by Casey McQuiston. I can't believe I've finally read this book. I also can't believe how quickly I read this book. I got through it in maybe 4 days. It was 2 days of light beach reading, a night of staying up later than reasonable in bed, and then just finishing it one afternoon randomly. This book was great. I don't know why I ever doubted Casey McQuiston. Like, I've loved their other books, and of course I loved this one too. It was great. Like, it was so good. This book follows a character named Chloe Green after a girl from her school goes missing and leaves her and a few other characters clues as to where she's gone and why she's disappeared. It was very, like, fun. I did keep waiting for, like, the other shoe to drop and for it to be some, like, reverse Paper Towns situation. I don't know. I really did keep thinking about John Green while I was reading this book. But one thing about it is that it felt real. Not plot-wise, I guess. Like, if a girl actually went missing, her parents probably would, like, do something about it, but the characters felt real. They felt like people. They had that kind of complexity. They weren't super, like, two-dimensional in the way that a lot of teenage characters are written. This book is set in Alabama and has a content warning at the start. There is a lot of that, like, fake kind religious speak about queer characters, and yeah, I think the warning is very fitting. I think that if you want to read this book but have issues around that, really do give it a thought. There is just that, like, subtle homophobia kind of running through it. Obviously not, like, pro that, like, it's following queer characters and trying to, like, fight against that, but obviously content warnings are important. I really loved the side characters in this book. There were a lot of them, and I just loved all of them. For a lot of the book, we're following Chloe, Smith, and Rory. Smith and Rory were wonderful. I wasn't expecting to warm to them in the way that I did, but I love where their characters went and where those stories went. I like that the book almost, like, poked fun at, like, the main character vibe that Shara had. Like, she saw herself as a main character and we are judging her for it, but also, hey, people are more than two-dimensional and she's a little more than that, and she feels like she's more than that, and we learn that she's a little more than that. But yeah, I liked this book a lot. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Everything got 4 out of 5 stars, even though I felt very differently about all of these books. I feel like 4 stars is my standard rating for I enjoyed it. It didn't change my life, but it was good. So those are the books that I read in August. I have fallen way behind my reading goal and I'm hoping to catch up this month, but this is me we're talking about, so it's definitely not gonna happen. But I also am on holiday, so I do have loads of free time to just read, especially, like, while traveling between places. I'm in a car quite a lot, so there is just, like, good time. Also, beach reading. Incredible. People talk about reading on the beach so much for a reason. I'm not a beach person, but lately it's just been so nice to, like, have a book on a beach. There is so much sand in these pages, but it's fine. Also, the book got wet. Here's a thing I didn't think about. When you read on a beach, if you have been in the water, your bathers stay wet. And so if you lean the book on you while you read, the book gets wet. So, yeah, maybe that's obvious, but I sure didn't think of it, and now this book is a little bit damaged, but that's okay. I had a good time reading it, and the wear kind of just shows that. But yes, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up. Let me know what your favorite book that you read this month was. I upload every week. You can subscribe to see that, and I'll see you next time. Bye.